Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this absolutely glorious Friday afternoon. I don't know about you, but it's apocalyptic rain up here in Yorkshire. Um, what we're doing today. It's been a long time coming, but we've brought back our Friday happy hour live streams, and I'm super excited to invite Kyle, Jessica, Leanne, and Jeff to chat to me this afternoon. This is not going to be a boring webinar. There's only happy hour vibes, good chat, and absolutely no boring slides allowed. So with that, I'm going to jump straight into it with a couple of intros. So I'm going to jump to you first, Kyle. Who are you and why are you here?
Gosh, that's jumping in the deep end there. Kyle is my name. I run AI with Kyle. It's a very aptly named YouTube channel, social media presence. I'm primarily a content creator in the AI space, helping people to learn how to start to use AI in their professional and their personal life. I do far too many live streams for my health. I've done 2 hours of live streaming. This is my third hour today.
Oh, wow. That's a lot. That's a lot of streaming.
As well as helping people to help others to learn how to use artificial intelligence. So specifically, my bread and butter work is going and helping businesses by giving workshops. So now I help other people to give workshops by licensing my material and teaching them how to go and implement it within their own industry and become the go-to person in their industry.
That's awesome. I'm going to jump to you next, Jessica. Do you want to give a quick introduction for everyone listening?
Yeah, sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Jessica Osho, and I'm the founder of Strat Intelligence AI, a one-person team at the moment. But essentially, I help solopreneurs and small and medium-sized businesses streamline their processes, implement systems, and then really use AI to help scale what they already do very well, essentially. So that's what I do kind of day to day. I have a quant engineering background, so I've been doing that for about almost 10 years now. But I really, really do love low code and no code platforms when it comes to AI automation. So it's a bit about me.
Awesome. And then, yes, I mean, Leanne and Jeff, do you want to introduce yourselves together separately? How should we?
Hi, I'm Jeff, and this is Leanne.
Yeah, that works.
We are
introduce each other. Do it.
We are podcast hosts. Podcast Compromising Positions. Please type in Compromising Positions podcast. Don't just type in Compromising Positions if you are to look for us. And my background is the day job is cybersecurity. But before I got into cybersecurity, I was an anthropologist specializing in digital cultures, and I'm now sort of moving towards studying how we engage as on a cultural element with AI.
Thank you. I'm nowhere near as interesting. I'm Jeff Watkins. I'm the CTO for a consultancy called Create Future. I've been in tech consultancy 26 years now. I also started coding when I was 6, so I've been coding for 42 years now, which kind of shows my age a little bit. I started on a Commodore VIC-20. I'm not sure how many people remember one of those before the ZX Spectrum. Over the last few years, I've really, as part of my work in consultancy, been starting to engage more and more with AI and a lot of helping clients understand it, get literate, get fluent, get their skills built up, because we realized that when we started talking to clients about AI, board members saying we need to do some AI, and people go, we don't know what that means. What does that actually mean? So I think there's that journey of AI enablement that we've spent the last few years on that's been absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to introduce myself very briefly. So I'm Hannah. I founded AI for the Rest of Us. So the reason that I founded this community, this conference, this mad project is because I was feeling all of those things. I was feeling like I had a massive blind spot and I was getting left behind, but I didn't really know what I didn't know. Like I didn't even have like the foundational knowledge, and I was like, where is that space for me? Like as a tech person, really, I'm not afraid of like getting into the details, but where's that space for me to get started? And so AI for the Rest of Us was really born out of that very personal need to like fill in the gaps in my knowledge, because AI is becoming increasingly more and more and more important in our work lives, in our like personal lives, and also as a society as well. Like there's huge topics we could touch on today, but to just give a very, very quick plug, I appreciate you joining today. The thing that brings all of these awesome people together is that we are going to be speaking at a 2-day conference hosted at the Museum of London on 15th and 16th of October. As a thank you for tuning in today, we have a discount code for you that is LIVE25, and that will get you 25% off the ticket price. We would love to see some of you there, and I'm going to be asking each of these incredible experts what they're going to be sharing with the community on those days. And I'm going to leave it to you. Like, who wants to jump in first? Like, what are you going to be hoping to teach folks during your session at AI for the Rest of Us? I shouldn't have done that, should I? I should have just given a name. I should have given a name.
Just tell us what to do.
I'll just tell you what to do. I wouldn't do that in the pub, though, would I? That's not how it would go.
So Jeff and I, it's our second time at AI for the Rest of Us, and just a little plug that we go to a lot of conferences, and we have to say that we had nothing but positive things to say about our attendance last year. The talks were amazing, the attendees were fabulous, and the opportunity to network with people and things like that. So Hannah puts on a good do. So if you are still on the fence, I would say definitely join. But we're back again. We've got something fun for you planned. We're going to be talking about AI agents. You might have heard everyone talking about AI agents, and you're thinking, oh, what exactly is it? And how can we use that to our benefit? And we will give you the 101, or should I say 007, for our talk is called For Your AI's Agents Only, which is a big riff on James Bond. And yes, we will be coming dressed up. So
we do have props as well.
Will you? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
We have props, we have costume changes.
Don't expect too like proper Oscar-worthy levels of acting. Not like the real James Bond ever had that anyway. But we're going to cover a number of different topics. I think we're going to cover like what AI agents are and aren't, kind of the stages to get to sort of AI agentic automation, but also things like some of the other things you'll hear. I think people talking about MCP and A2A and agentic web and a bunch of other jargon. And what we're going to do is going to bust all the way through that and give it to you in some very simple terms. And by the end of it, you'll kind of understand the life cycle, the agentic loop, and a bit of how to go forward and think about how you might maybe start to investigate or use AI agents yourself. So hopefully it'll be half an hour of dubious acting, but also a proper 101 on AI agents.
Speak for yourself. Oscars are calling for me. I'm going to go full method.
Oh, I love it. And actually, one of the things that I have noticed in terms of like the conversations about AI and what people are excited about, like, this time last year, it was all about Gen AI. What are we going to do with it? LLMs, and the conference kind of reflected that. One of the opening talks was like, "What the hell is an LLM? What is it doing?" The conversation's massively moved on, and I don't know where we are in that hype cycle, but it's all about agents. I could have put on a 2-day conference that was wall-to-wall agents. And this week in London, there was an MCP conference just about how you let your agents do things in the real world. MCP is a Model Context Protocol for the folks that are listening. That is just one tiny project in like a whole ecosystem of technologies around agents, and it was sold out. Like the place was absolutely full. Agents they're coming for us.
Well, I think what we saw with GPT-5, like the kind of we've almost like blown the Moore's law free lunch very, very quickly, as in you just make the models bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. That worked up to a point like, well, how do you then make them do more things, more interesting things? And this is now we've turned the corner on that. It's time to escape from the chat window, which I think is super exciting.
Well,
kind of
isn't it?
super-
Isn't it?
other aspects as well.
No, well, and also like one of the things that I've learned. So this time last year, I was stressing about doing my first conference. Oh my gosh! But after that, I sat down and I was like, "What on earth do I want to do with my time these days?" Like, I'm freelance, so I was like, what direction do I want to take myself in? And I wanted to build agents, and so I have done that. And I'm now convinced that like you could do a lot with a large language model, but you're relying on the knowledge that it has internalized. And so within like a work context, or you can't rely on that. You can't have it guessing things about a customer situation or your data or your products. They have to be correct. And so giving agents access to retrieve information in a sort of just in time way, not having to like retrain and fine tune them. I think the way that agents will integrate with other technologies is actually super, super interesting. And yes, I'm sure Leanne has a lot to say about the cybersecurity aspects of this, because when I take off my AI enthusiast hat and I put my security hat back on, I start to get very worried about these agents going wild with our data.
I think we've just been pulling down the hat in cybersecurity, going, "Oh God, I should go away. This is so hard."
I mean, the thing is, it's like don't even ask me what the right answer is, because the right answer doesn't exist yet. We're sort of thrashing around and figuring it out, aren't we?
I was at OWASP London, and it's Security Express. I thought I'd have a room full of people, like hands up, who's been doing a lot of LLM security and Gen AI security and agentic security. Nobody put their hand up. It's like, oh, right, wow, this is a much more salient topic than I thought. I thought this would be a boring topic for devs, and it'd be a boring topic for security people. It turns out it's what the world really wants. Mm-hmm. I think it's been a very popular talk.
Mm-hmm. Oh, awesome. Jessica, you're also talking about automation using agents, aren't you? Like, do you want to tell us a little bit about your background with this and what you're going to be sharing on the day?
Yeah, sure. So on the day, I'll be really kind of focusing on how businesses can use primarily automation, but obviously using AI to kind of top it up, but really talking about how everyday people, whether it be at work, your 9 to 5, or running a business, how you can integrate automation into your processes, whether it kind of be sales processes, finance processes, onboarding processes, to help save hours in those processes. So first, kind of understanding your processes, and then being able to kind of clearly map out kind of each step, and then systemizing it. So I think even before we even talk about AI, it's like that is how you can kind of that's really where you can move the needle when it comes to saving time, and potentially if you have your own business, making more money, using AI. I think using AI on a messy system, a system that you don't know, you haven't mapped out, kind of just makes it super messy, and it's not actually going to you're not going to get the gains that you're looking for. So primarily really just focusing on like how people can understand the existing processes that they have, and then when using AI tools to help supercharge that to kind of save time or make more money, really looking at the current tech stack that they have now, rather than kind of looking, there's so many new tools out there, honestly, like every day there's a new tool doing like the next best thing. But I think there's a lot of value in the tools that people currently existently have right now. So for example, Google Meets. A lot of people use Google Meets, and a lot of people probably don't even know they have it has a transcribe and Google summary feature. So that in itself, people can leverage that rather than going out and kind of buying external tools like Fireflies and kind of other tools. Similarly, Dropbox have an automation tool. So there's Notion. So it's kind of like making people aware that AI isn't necessarily scary, and it's already embedded in a lot of tools that people use day to day. So it's just really getting people to understand, like, try out the tools that you have now, see what is there and available within those tools, and then you can kind of get to the next step if you want to advance, use more complex AI automations. And I know AI agencies are super interesting, but I think with like 90% of what people do day to day practically, an AI automation is fine. And if you're going to the next level, you really want to supercharge, your business, and there's just more complex, workflows that you want to implement, then I think AI agents is where you can really kind of look to kind of supercharge a business. But I think AI automation probably does 90% of what people need every day. So I'm trying to keep it as practical as possible.
Yeah, and I think one of the good things about agents is that they're useful for dealing with like the novel, So you can automate business processes if you can build rules around them, right? Like it's if this happens, then this happens, then this happens. Whereas agents deal with all of the stuff that is maybe a little bit more novel. It's like, oh, this customer complaint looks a little bit like this, and therefore, like I can triage it. I can put it through this process. But then you could also do like further triage. It's like, well, did that seem correct as a response? And I think building traditional, dare I say, traditional automation tools required catering for all kinds of edge cases. That are created that are normal everyday stuff in businesses, which agents are actually much better suited for dealing with. People are messy, always. So yeah, I'm gonna jump to you next, Kyle, because you're not talking about agents. Which were, or are you? Or are you gonna surprise me?
I can if you want me to.
With a new workshop. Actually, we're talking about agents.
No, so I am coming in at a more base level, a more fundamental level for the rest of us. So I love automations. I have an automation course. I teach people how to make automations. I love agents. I vibe code every day. I build stuff. But I think there's still a huge gap between where we are. Us sitting on a Friday afternoon, we could be at the pub, but instead we're talking about artificial intelligence. And the people who are in the chat as well, who are currently geeking out over the BBC Micro. I don't know if you've seen the chat, but there's a lot of BBC Micro and Spectrum talk over there. We are in a very small sphere, and we forget that sometimes. And it's only when we step outside of that and we realize that, oh, wow, we know a lot more about what's going on here. I was at a Google event last night, and it was split between AI and influencers and content creators in the DIY and renovation space. And it was about showing them Google Gemini and how you can use the Gemini model to literally act as your eyes and ears. You could show it DIY tasks, and it could explain how to fix holes in your wall or faucets that are dripping, etc. And for them, it was like, this is magic. How can it see what I'm doing? How can it understand? And this is technology that we've been relatively used to for the last few months. But there is still this gap. So what I do, bread and butter work, is going into businesses in particular and explaining how to use these tools. And a lot of the time it is incredibly base level. I went into a charity here in London and gave them a pro bono workshop, and I went in and they were fearful of this technology. And I was like, well, why? Why this stuff's not scary, at least for me. Why are you so fearful? They'd had a free training they've been sent from a large advisory company. Been sent this guy who was a machine learning expert, had 2 PhDs. He came and he talked to them about back propagation, linear algebra, stuff like that. And these 60, 70-year-old heads of this charity who have worked in social care for the whole of their life were overwhelmed. I came in and I was like, okay, we're going to do AI. And you could see them like, oh God. And I was like, okay, can you use WhatsApp? Yeah, we can use WhatsApp. Cool. You can use ChatGPT. Let's fire it up. And then starting to bring them in at that kind of level. There are still lots of people who need that initial help. Getting, like, before we can start talking about automation and vibe coding and agents and stuff, we need to get people using it at the base level. And as Jessica was saying, it is being built into a lot of our everyday tools, which is fantastic. And that's going to help us get there. But a lot of people are still fearful or have psychological blocks. So what I now do is I train the trainer. I help people learn how to give workshops within their particular industry. And it's not necessarily a technical job. It's more about breaking down psychological blocks. It's about storytelling, metaphors, explaining why AI is important for people in your industry. So if you work in social care, why is it important for people in this industry? If you work in publishing, what do you need to know about it? So helping them kind of bridge the gap between their world within the industry and the world of artificial intelligence, and helping their industry get on board with this kind of thing. So I'm going to be explaining how you would give your first workshops, talking about less technical things like public speaking, which is something that does not come naturally to me. It has not come naturally to an awful lot of my students, but I guide people through a framework about how you can learn to do this stuff, even if you are introverted. And then talking about what kind of stuff you should be teaching and how to start getting clients, etc., etc. So it would be I'm hoping, a very practical workshop where we'll have lots of people in the room who know this stuff, who work in very diverse industries, and I want them to go out of the room being able to go and help their industries and become the person who guides and helps that particular industry.
Yeah, and I think it's not just for the folks who are going to like go and change their career completely, like you have done. Like you've gone all in. Like I'm gonna become like an AI expert, and I'm going to help people by delivering workshops. Like it doesn't necessarily have to be that level of commitment. You could become like the go-to person within your current team, and I think that's where that maybe sometimes the magic happens. It's like the domain expertise and the trust that you have in your own organization. And then, you know, I go like, none of us know what AI means for us next, but like I'll hold up my hands and I'm going to help to figure that out. And I think a lot of people could take on that role.
It's the internal evangelist. It's the person who says, hey, exactly. We need to have a look at this and work out what's going on. I won't name him, but one of my students, he had this recently. And so he spent months trying to say, hey, we need to look at AI. We need to work out what's going on because this could be an issue for our company. And it took him months to be able to deliver the first workshop. And then when he was about to do so, the manager kind of pulled him aside and said, oh, you shouldn't use these examples because you're going to scare the content, like the blog writers in our team. And we don't want them scared. So take this out and cut this out. And basically it got shredded. Oh. He did the workshop and then he handed in his notice. He handed in the notice the same day because he realized this company's not going to survive. If this is their attitude right now, this is a problem. And they were not only blocking it, but they're kind of actively stopping people from learning these new skills. So he started as an internal evangelist, and now he's going off on his own.
This is a cultural zeitgeist. This is the people who approach it from a technical thing. I mean, like somebody coming in and talking about back propagation to 70-year-olds. Yeah, how not to read it. Because AI has been around since the 50s, and what has taken it into the mainstream has been democratizing it and making sure that anybody can just walk up to a link and have a go with it. And democratizing it suddenly changed completely, in my opinion at least, completely changed the story on it. Especially generative AI is quite a different kind of mode of thinking or way of using AI than traditional discriminative AI. So now we have like people who approach it as a technical problem to solve are doomed to fail. I think, you know, as you're saying there, both of you saying like it's really important that we think about from a humanistic point of view, like from a storytelling point of view, from an enablement point of view. To people know their own jobs, but they also know what's not working in their own jobs. But they need the other part of the puzzle. It's like, well, what can AI do for them? Without not talking about back propagation and neural nets, like what can AI do for them? Understanding the next leap of how to leverage the technology, not the technology itself, because people in accounts aren't necessarily going to want to learn how to code in Python.
Which is fine.
No. And I honestly, I think that, you know, if you're delivering a workshop or you're doing some internal, like jumping up and down and going, your job doesn't exist anymore. Like, that's not the way to win hearts and minds, is it? I've been there before in different parts of my career when it was like DevOps at the beginning, and we were talking about different ways to deliver software. And that was a lot of the sort of, that was a lot of the tech focused sentiment. It was like, we don't need any of this old way. We need the new way. And there was very little empathy for the people who were like, oh, heck, like my career is based on the old way. Like my expertise, my value, like my sort of my self-confidence and stuff like that is based on being an expert in this thing that you're shouting about is the old way. And I think there are a lot of people in a lot of different industries who must be feeling a little bit like that at the moment. But yes, again, like this is why we focus so much on inclusion and like very, very low barrier to entry with AI for the rest of us. You're not expected to arrive at the conference and be an AI expert already. We are not that place. We're that place where you can take those first steps and go like, okay, what does it mean for me? What does it mean for me? Take the content and then you do something with it in your context. But with a lot of amazing experts like yourself who are there with you, who are open and willing to answer questions and support you with those first steps, which is like Literally, I am like the example of the person who 12 months ago didn't know anything about AI, and now I help other people to understand it. So if I can do it, anyone can. I wonder, Jessica, to throw it back over to you, if you've found through your consulting or otherwise in your communities, like how people are navigating AI adoption. Have you felt any resistance?
I would definitely say resistance, but kind of in kind of two separate ways. So like I, like I mentioned, I'm a quant engineer, and traditionally, we love to code, we love to build systems, we love to build build out code and deploy them. So when ChatGPT came out and I started to adopt kind of low code and no code tools, I found it like for me, although I'm a coder, I don't necessarily, I'm not like, I won't spend my whole week coding 24/7. Like I just code to get the job done, sort of thing. That's just like my mindset, and that's how I've kind of always been. But I do have obviously people that I've worked with who very much like they love coding. So I was very much like, oh, actually, we should look into some potentially kind of no code and low code tools, primarily for kind of speed of deployment, really, because if you're going to build something from scratch, it is going to take you weeks, months to kind of deploy something and kind of do some user testing or POCs. But actually, if you implement or if you use low code or no code platforms, you can kind of turn a potential POC and idea around quite quickly. But there was so much resistance in terms of like no code, low code. So it's like, oh, those are for people who don't know how to code or don't maybe I don't know, aren't smart enough. But to be honest, I'm like, well, you guys are actually missing a trick, because the whole point of being able to deploy something is for people to use it and for it to actually have business value or value in the world. So if you can spit out 2 products a year, that's fine, but then I could potentially spit out 10 or 12 or 20, 100 really, using no code platforms, and actually I would add more value than yourselves. So that's definitely what I saw kind of in my work life when it comes to resistance. And then on the other side, dealing with clients, in terms of there's so much noise about kind of AI, what it can do. People are talking, the language when it comes to AI is extremely advanced, even when you look at your screens every day. So I think people are definitely a bit very intimidated about AI and kind of and the speed of the advancement of AI is just ridiculous. Like even I can't keep up literally, and I do this every day. So I think it's really important for us who do care about the wider community, the 95% of the population who are just figuring out AI, to kind of help them along the journey of understanding AI and really helping them understand like the baseline, and then work with them in terms of their kind of growth and education journey, because ultimately AI will impact all of us in every aspect of our lives. So I think it is really important for us to kind of help them along the journey. So yeah, resistance on both ends, but I think people are slowly, people like us are helping everybody else, and then hopefully when things plateau a bit, which I don't see the advance of AI plateauing anytime soon. But yeah, hopefully everyone will be brought along this journey.
Yes, and I think like what you were saying, it completely reminded me of some of the conversations I've been having recently. So I've been running a survey with Ileana Gross-Bruening and the Deeply Human Innovation, and what we have been aiming to do is to put words to those feelings that people are having about AI at the moment through our survey. And the survey is still open. If you're listening and you haven't filled in the survey, please go do so. So if you go to AI for the Rest of Us Live, then you'll see in the main menu our survey page. It takes about 5 minutes to fill in, but what we're trying to do is actually get a really broad cross section of perspectives and like get outside of our tech bubble for a minute. And I've literally been out on the streets in London, like with my iPad, like interviewing people about how they feel about AI. And it's been absolutely fascinating, but also incredibly enlightening as well. So, there was one person who was like working in finance, and encouraged to use AI tools by their manager and stuff like that, but was actually like, their source of anxiety wasn't for him, it was for his kids. It was like, well, what are the jobs and what are the skills that my kids need now? Look at all this stuff that AI is doing for me. What's it going to do for them? And I think that was really fascinating. Another great encounter was I went up to a street food vendor in a quiet moment where he wasn't serving curry, and I said, "How do you feel about AI?" And he was like, "Love it. Love it. Use it all day, every day. It's a junior member of my team that I didn't have to hire. It saved me so much money." Like a proper AI enthusiast in an industry that I actually didn't expect there to it to be. Like it's just some guys serving curry down in Spitalfield. So yeah, I think there are strong feelings, positive, negative, neutral, apocalyptic, brewing under the surface for a lot of people. But I also do like to reassure people that it's just maths. It's just numbers. It's just that the computers aren't thinking, or it looks like it. It is. So yeah, I don't know how you feel about that. Have you had any? Have you, Kyle or Jeff Lee, have you had any encounters recently where like you learned something new about AI from someone you didn't expect?
Well, there's kind of one kind of story that I'll share, which was, so it's not quite on that vein, but it was also where I just want to turn around and go, just be a human, actually, like put the AI down a second. So I was on the train. I was sat next to a young lady, and I can't help it, I'm a nosy person. I work in cybersecurity. I'm always going to look over at what people are typing. But what I could get from the gist of it was that her other half had sent a very heavy message saying, basically, I feel stifled in this relationship. I feel like I'm losing my identity. And she took that response, put it into ChatGPT and said, I would like a response back. How do I respond back to this? Now, what was interesting is the first response that ChatGPT gave back, the latest version, turned around and basically wrote an essay about identity. I was very formal and things like that, and not very human to that kind of response that you were waiting for. And she just kept saying, no, make it more chill, make it more normal, make it more human. And she kept prompting it, like, because it was not spitting out the response she wanted. And there was at one point I was so tempted to turn around and go, just reply as a human being to another human being. Please stop. Because for 20 minutes she was at this going, no, it's not quite right. Your response is not quite right. Like, no, come on, respond just as a human. There are some things that we do innately better.
Just reply with K, bye.
Oh, no. Yeah, I mean, God, I've never used it for relationship advice, and I don't think.
But you think, like, is the other half doing the same thing? Are they both just having an intermediary with ChatGPT as their relationship kind of proxy? I don't know. I got off the train, and unfortunately, I didn't see how that story ended.
Did you not tap them on the shoulder?
Didn't we have a relationship? Yeah, I think we did via WhatsApp. I think our AI's had a relationship via WhatsApp for 6 months. Did we meet in person? Don't think so. What's your name, by the way? We'll have these weird dystopian Philip K. Dick style futures, I think. We allow people to outsource their thinking and their personal interactions to AI. That's the worry, isn't there?
There is that. But one thing I am looking forward to, so I'm working for an organization at the moment. We're putting on the first hackathon in ages that they've had. And this will be my first hackathon that I've run where AI could be involved. So, traditionally hackathons, we get together, and if you're in a group with someone who can code, you might be able to knock something up. But normally it's lots of whiteboards, lots of post-it notes, and big sheets of paper. But I'm really looking forward to seeing like how AI will change hackathons, because as you were just touching upon there, Jessica, the ability to actually make coders of us all and like knock up a prototype is going to be amazing. So I can't wait to see if during this hackathon, people who, from different teams who, wouldn't class themselves as techie, if I say, actually, you can go use, Gemini to go knock you up a website to demonstrate your idea, will they use it? And what will that sort of empower people to do and be able to ideate faster? And I know these hackathons going to be even better than they ever were before in terms of the ideas we're going to be able to generate and do. So I'm really excited about that.
Oh, no, it's completely changed the game, hasn't it? Like, I know a lot of companies run hackathons as a way of encouraging people to like learn in a safe environment. But the AI coding tools in the past 12 months have become incredibly good, haven't they?
I just I met with lunch yesterday with an American guy who'd come over to judge a hackathon that had been run at Google. And they'd been running it over the last 5 days. And he goes around the world judging these things. And he said, out of the back of this 5-day hackathon, they had production-ready code. So normally from a hackathon, they would have, they'd have a proof of concept, maybe a bit of an MVP. They'd have a front end, bit of a demo, whatever. They were ready. They were good to go. And some of them, 2 of them are just like rolling on straight to the next stages because 5 days was enough. They used Gemini because it's a Google focused event. They after 5 days of hard work, good to go. So I think the hackathons are going to bring us a lot for the people who are engineers. They're going to be able to get a lot further, and for people who are non-engineers, having access to and being taught vibe coding tools is so powerful. Being able to create something that was just an idea that might have been kicking around in your head for the last 10 years while you're looking for a CTO or funding or whatever, and suddenly being able to go to Lovable, Replete, V0, Base 44, whatever, and make it a reality is so exciting for entrepreneurs.
Yeah, and you're vibe coding on your stream, vibe coding,
Yes.
or yes,
1 hour a day, I do a
AIS.
live.
So
live
what are
vibe
you
coding.
building at the moment?
Oh, it's a tool that is for content creators so that you
I
can.
love the sigh. It's like, oh, I've just streamed for 2 hours today about this.
No, it's not that. It's
go on, tell us.
no, the size because I'm bad at talking about it, which I need to get better at because I'm going to start marketing it shortly. It's so content creators, we use video like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, etc. at the top of the funnel to get a wide audience, but we need to bring them into an email list so we can bring people down a funnel and start to sell. People use something called a lead magnet, which is basically a piece of value. It's generally a video course or a PDF, a checklist in order to get an email address. So on a video, you'll say, hey, if you want to get a PDF version guide of this YouTube video, click here. So I've created a tool which allows me to grab the transcript from any YouTube video, any TikTok video, any Instagram video or blog article, convert that into multiple types of lead magnets, generate those lead magnets, and then create a landing page where people can arrive to get that lead magnet and give their email address. So I've been building that over the last, today was day 25. So it's 1 hour a day because I'm trying to show that this is something that even if you're non-technical, you can do. And I'm literally just using Lovable. Every day in the stream, I get people and they're like, you should use Cursor, you should use Claude Code. It's like, yes, I know, I understand that they're very good, but I'm trying to show that this is a technology that is accessible to anyone, really, as long as you can communicate.
Yeah, that's really cool, and I need to pick your brain about that.
Do you need a talk? Another one.
So what we've built here is so what I wanted to do is I wanted to take all of the amazing wisdom of all of the speakers at last year's conference, but also the one that's upcoming, and boil it down into very, very like social media sized nuggets of wisdom, because no one's got any attention to watch a 30-minute talk on YouTube these days. Unfortunately, it's really annoying. So we built something similar. It was like, take the transcript and come back with some of the like most succinct and insightful kind of moments that happened in this. It then joins that with the recording of it and edits the recording down and adds subtitles to it so that it's social media ready within like a couple of seconds. And then you just have to schedule it, which is where everything goes wrong. Because
have you seen that StreamYard does that now?
Then it's up to me.
StreamYard does that now. Yeah.
Does
so
it?
just do it.
Yeah, automatically.
A whole bunch of them have that functionality now, which might be simpler.
It might be simpler than building our own. It was quite fun to build it, though. It was very fun. We got all kinds of DIY conference tech happening in a couple of weeks' time. One of the best things, actually, I put it in the newsletter last week, but if you haven't read the newsletter, I call them the disco worms. You know, like these little squiggles, and that are part of our brand. But the Museum of London. It's not operating as a museum anymore. It's just this like incredible empty vessel of like brutalist architecture, and it has this enormous LED curtain. And they were like, "What do you want to put on it?" And I was like, "Oh, disco worms. I want disco worms on the LED curtain. And so we built a custom app so that I could dial up and down like the thickness of the worms and their frequency and their amplitude. Honestly, like you're going to get to see the disco worms dancing on the giant LED curtain at the Museum of London. I'm very happy about it.
Is that all you're going to be doing for 2 days? You're at the control board, and if we come to you with a question, you're like, shh. Disco worms.
Disco worms. Make them pink. Make them blue. Make them yellow. No, unfortunately, like one of the things that I found last year, like I had a very different conference experience to the other folks that came, because I didn't get a lot of opportunity to watch the talks. When you're organizing a conference, it's one, like just for me and my perspective, it's very difficult. It's very difficult to concentrate, but also there's so many people who like are there in person that you want to connect with. It's like such a congregation of awesome, and you want to give everyone your time, and that means that there's less time for going and watching talks. Like I want to come to your workshop, Kyle, and I want to go to your talk, and I hope I will. But if I don't, forgive me, because it's such a weird, different experience when it's your event.
You're given a panel whilst I'm talking, so I don't think you will. You're hosting something.
Oh, am I? Am I clashing with you? Oh,
yeah,
I'll make sure
panel. The only constant is change.
Well, that's true. So I have had a speaker drop out in that track, and so I am winging it a little bit with the content, and I'm going to facilitate a panel instead of the talk that I had originally planned. So
you're actually organizing it, so we're more than grateful that you're creating this space for all of us to be able to present and then educate everyone. So yeah, no, that's absolutely fine. Hearts for sure.
Oh, absolutely. I know once I get there, I'm going to have the best time. The question is, and now I need to like dig into like how glamorous Jeff and Leanne are coming. It's like, how many sequins am I going to wear? Like, did I have enough sequins last year, or do I need even more sequins? I'm not sure.
You'll have to find out.
Seems like a good time to plug it. Do we have a
Yeah, oh well, absolutely.
If you want to see how many sequins.
If you do want to see how many sequins I am going to wear, if you want to see Jeff and Leanne cosplaying a 007 James Bond themed talk, then you should absolutely buy your ticket now and join us on the 15th and 16th of October. The discount code for everyone who is on the live stream today is live25. Appreciate you hanging out with us on this rainy, miserable Friday. Hopefully you've cracked open a beer. I've finished mine, which is incredibly sad. I don't know how your cocktails are going down, Jeff and Leanne. But
gone.
They're gone. They're gone. So I'm gonna wrap us up in a minute with
nice thirsty work.
It is, isn't it? It is. I'm going to wrap us up now, because we could chat for many hours. This has been really fun. I'm going to ask you one more question, and that is just very quickly, like, why are you excited to join us at the conference on 15th and 16th? I will go around to Kyle, Jess, and then Leanne and Jeff.
Just clicking there. I think, as you have already mentioned, just the concentration of awesome people in the same room. I know a lot of the speakers you have already from different events and different places, but having everyone together for 2 days we haven't mentioned the dates, have we? On the 15th and 16th of October. I think it's just so exciting to have that concentration all in one place, and I'm imagining some wonderful things are going to come out of it.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'll just say I'm really excited to meet all the speakers. I haven't done the speaker rounds. I'm quite new to this. It'll be great to kind of connect with the speakers. Specifically at this event, you know, we all have a mission to kind of help educate the masses and help bring them along when it comes to AI. So for me, I'm just really excited to share the knowledge that I have, but also connect with the speakers on the day. And I think it's going to be a very, as Hannah mentioned earlier, very inclusive and supportive environment. So no question is simple, silly. Literally, we're all here to support you. So yeah, really excited to kind of be there and do my bit.
Well, we're excited to go because Hannah has a very good rule in place, which I fully support as someone who attends a lot of conferences, is a no sales, no bullshit kind of rule. There's nothing worse than going to a talk and then all of a sudden it turns into a sales pitch. You will not get that at this conference. You will be actually learning stuff, and you'll definitely be learning stuff from us because we've got no to sell. So we'll tell you all we know about agentic AI. So yeah, that's what we're looking forward to, because yeah, there ain't nothing worse than thinking you're going to learn something, but really just learning about someone's product.
I mean, last year really set the bar very high. It was the best AI event I went to all year. I thought it was incredibly cool to meet a bunch of new people who I've kept in contact with as well, and see some great talks. I thought it was very accessible as well. Nice to see a really well-rounded event. So I'm really excited to see what people have to say about their own AI journeys over the last year.
And I'm looking forward to your catering. I saw your latest email about the catering. So, you know, being a Yorkshire lass, a free lunch is what I'm after. So.
Of course. Yes. So it's a bit different this year. So we've got Curb coming along. So it won't be a beige buffet of conference food. We've got Curb coming along with Mexican. So we will have tacos, burritos, and rice bowls. And we've also got a proper barista. So no crappy conference coffee either. I will just warn you, Leanne, the street food pop-up is paid for. It's not included because yes, like street food is delicious, but also a lot of people in central London will just choose to do their own thing. So we've increased the lunchtime so that people can, and they will probably do their own thing, but there is no compromise if you want to hang out at the venue and have some delicious street food with us as well. Awesome. And so with that, I will say thank you to Kyle, Jessica, Leanne, and Jeff. I'm going to do a very quick plug because we are doing this next week. I have seen Jamie Dobson very active in the chat. So if you're still listening, Jamie, you said yes to coming on this happy hour stream next week. I'm going to hold you to that. So if you've enjoyed this, you can tune in next week at 4 p.m, which will be just a few days before the conference. So we'll see how I'm coping at that moment in time. Are the disco worms still dancing? And with that, I'm going to wrap up. Have a fabulous weekend, everybody, and I hope to see you in a couple of weeks' time.
Thank you, Hannah.
Thank you all. Thank you. See you.
Bye.